one thing I love to ask any artist that I have the opportunity to sit down with, and I'd love to hear from each of you, is what the first music you heard was, like around the house, from family members or whatever, when you really remember getting kind of turned on by it and being like, this is important, this is meaningful. And at what point did you realize not only do you love this, but you want to participate? This is something you need to like be part of, beyond just being in the audience.
You want to take it first?
Yeah. So I would say like the first music I ever heard was probably Eminem, the Marshall Mathers LP, and the only reason I got that was because I was specifically told by my parents that I couldn't because it was offensive, and I would put it in my boombox and listen to it really, really quietly because I was scared that they would knew that I had the album, and I loved it. And I think it just, I don't know, it kind of just started it for me.
It's kind of a classic story.
Yeah.
You know, when people were debating in the 80s whether or not to put stickers on albums, it was like, a lot of bands were like, yeah, please put the sticker on our album.
And I think it's cool and relatable because when we do meet and greets with our fans, I think it's similar for a lot of our fans. Like, my parents told me I can't listen to Attila, I can't go to the Attila show. And when you tell a kid not to do something, they want to do it more. So I think it's kind of ironic that we fall into that same boat.
Yeah. So that was kind of the first, okay, this is music and I love it. Where did it enter into the picture that you thought you could even do it?
So for me personally, it just started when I was probably like 10 years old, because I would go to New Jersey every single summer and visit my cousins. And they were a couple years older than me, and their friends were in a band. So we would go to their friend, they were like, hey, do you want to come to my friend's band practice in the basement? And I'm like, what's that? Like, I had no idea because I was just such a young kid, and we went to the basement and it was real people playing real instruments, and my mind was blown, like, as a little 10-year-old. I didn't know that people actually made the music.
Right.
And I instantly fell in love with the idea of being in a band and doing that. And it was just everything about it, the environment. Like, one of their guitarists was on steroids and smashed his guitar against the wall. There was so many girls there all the time. Like I was like, oh, this is great. Like, drugs, booze, girls, like smashing shit. Like, this is like the coolest thing you could ever do in life. And I'm like 10 years old. So from that day forward, I just dedicated my life to music and trying to figure out how to do that.
Yeah. Same question.
My first inspiration in music was like AFI and Avenged Sevenfold.
Rad.
And then just how much like Avenged Sevenfold, especially with like how good they were at guitar and all that stuff, made me want to like sit down and actually learn how to do all that stuff. But
Chris is like a challenge person. Like, if you're better than him at something, he'll figure out how to be better than you. So like, you know, Avenged Sevenfold shreds, so he's like, I gotta be better than them. Like, I gotta shred harder. Like,
tell him the Guitar Hero story.
Yeah, tell the Guitar Hero story. This is how you really started playing guitar, the Guitar Hero story.
Well, our tour manager that used to tour with us, he was like so good at video games, and we got Guitar Hero, and then he would always beat me at Guitar Hero, and there was Cowboys from Hell from Pantera song. And he would like always beat me at that, so I just got annoyed one day and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go, like, screw you, I'm gonna go figure out how to play this on the guitar. And I went in the other room where like my amp guitar was, and like 5 minutes later came back out, I was like, well, I can play it on a real guitar like this little kid. Yeah, fuck you. You can't, I'll do it with a real guitar, bro.
That wins every time.
Yeah.
And in my neighborhood, there was a bunch of girls that lived in my neighborhood. And my buddy Brad Hayes got an acoustic guitar for Christmas, and he started like fumbling around with it, and all the girls in my neighborhood were like, that's so cool, he plays guitar. And I was like, damn, I need to get me one of those things.
Old standby. Yeah.
Well, it seems like we're all kind of influenced by the same motives.
Yeah.
Why are there so many girls here? Because they're in a band. Duh.
Well, sign me up. Yeah, and you mentioned AFI as well as Avenged. Those are both bands that, they're heavy, but they also have a lot of melody.
Yeah.
And they're both kind of dark and more theatrical, I think, than
Yeah.
so like a lot of punk or hardcore bands or whatever. Was that part of the draw also? Was the whole sort of imagery around those bands?
Yeah, definitely. Like just seeing their concert live. I went to an AFI show when I was probably like 12 years old. My dad would take me to concerts, and when I saw them perform and the way they performed live, I was like so hooked to wanting to play live music. And so I think it was their energy of their show and everything at the same time. Like, it just kind of brought it all together.
That's a cool dad too.
Yeah.
Just taking you to that.
Yeah, he's pretty cool dude.
That's awesome. What was your first actual like band experience getting into a band?
First band experience? After that, I was like 13 years old, maybe a little younger than 13. I went to this summer camp called Camp Jam, and it was like rock and roll summer camp for kids. And then you basically like auditioned at it, and they put you in beginner, intermediate, advanced groups, and then you like found mutual people that like the same styles, and you just like have a week where you write or do a cover together. So, and then you do a concert at the end of the week. So that was like the first actual experience of playing with other musicians. And then that's what started my first local band.
That's awesome.
So
Mine was a high school talent show, but I was in middle school. And this was back in the day where you only met people at the mall. So I was,
Mall, Georgia.
you had nothing to do when you're like 12 years old except just go to the mall. So these high schoolers were like, hey, we're playing the Battle of the Bands in like 3 weeks and we don't have a vocalist. Like, do you want to scream and like, you get to be in a high school? I'm like, fuck yeah, like I'm a little middle schooler. I was like, yeah, and I was like, I'd never screamed before in my life, so I didn't know if I could do it or not.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're covering Smash Your Enemies by Hatebreed and Skin Like Winter by Zayo.
Wow.
So those were the two first songs I ever screamed in my life. And they came over to my parents' basement. I'd never screamed in a mic before. And I just went for it, and everyone's jaw dropped. They were like, holy shit, this guy's fucking good. And yeah, I was in middle school, but I got to like step into high school for the first time to play the high school Battle of the Bands, and I felt all cool and shit. That was my first experience.
That's amazing. Dude, I never knew that there was a Franz Zayo connection in your history somewhere.
Yeah, the first song I
awesome.
ever sang.
That's awesome.
you should tell them about the first time you auditioned for Attila.
Whoa.
When they were in the
We'll get there. put a pin in that.
what you wanted to play.
I just wanted to be the bass player, dude.
But we got to do your origin story, as it were.
My origin story. Well, I grew up with a pretty young mom, so she always had like a pretty in touch taste with music. So she was always playing like Alice in Chains, Aerosmith, Bad Religion. And I remember having a CD player, and I would go in her room and steal her CDs just because she had them, and I would listen to stuff like that, like Dr. Dre, Chronic 2000. But I'll never forget, like me and one of my friends, we were growing up, he was like, I gotta show you something. Similar story, we had to like go behind the shed. Like our parents are gonna be pissed if they hear us listening to it, and it was Body Count. Yeah, Cop Killer, and we're like, what the fuck is this shit?
You can say this?
You can say this? So it was funny, like looking back on it now, like, obviously the band we're in right now.
Yeah.
Say whatever the fuck we want. But I just remember that feeling of being like, this is, like, I don't know if this is bad, but I like it. And ever since then, it was like, it kind of opened up a broader door for things too, because then same kid was like, have you heard of this band Korn? I'm like, no. He's like, we have to go in the garage and listen to it. If our parents catch us, you're gonna get in trouble too. So it was Life is Peachy, and I just remember like,
Yeah.
like mind blown. It was crazy.
What's wrong with this guy?
Yeah, it was just like, it was weird, man. It's like some weird endorphin rush that you, as a child, you don't know that that's like, because at the time it was like that weird transition from grunge to like nu metal. You know what I mean? Remember that whole like,
Yeah, and you don't
Flip
know
over.
that that's happening. You
you don't
sense
know
it,
it's
but you don't-
happening,
yeah.
but you're kind of like, your parents are cool with Nirvana or, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, shit like that, which I love all those bands as well.
But this is almost like now it's yours. Like yours.
Yeah, it was kind of at the point of my life, it was like the point where I wanted to start playing guitar, and like I was old enough to like figure out that's kind of something I wanted to do. And grunge was kind of like falling out. And I was just enamored with that kind of music.
You're like, no, Mom, the guitar has to have 7 strings.
Yeah. Like,
They're
I don't
different
want
now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm over here tuning down a 6-string guitar to like F when it shouldn't be tuned that low. You know what I mean? Now in hindsight, like, what the hell was I doing? But I think hearing those bands and like getting the feeling that, like, I don't know if this is wrong or if it's right, but it making me feel something. I like that feeling. And that's what I feel like music should do, is make you feel something. So I'll never forget, I saw Limp Bizkit on like, I forget, it was like MTV TRL? It was like TRL or something.
Yeah, TRL Live or whatever.
And I saw Wes Borland like just going crazy, and I was like, yo, like
Dressed
this
up
is
as like a
always,
voodoo monkey or something.
yeah, just always had this like awesome like stage presence, and that whole band just had like this crazy energy, and that was when like nu metal was like, boom, we're here, we're doing that. And that's when I was like, I want to do this for a living. And ever since then, I have been, you know what I mean? Since, I don't know, we all started touring when we were like teenagers.
Yeah, we're different we're different
15,
ages,
16.
but we all started touring like respectively like 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Touring in like
Different
Jeep
bands.
Cherokee, different bands, but like going on tour in a Jeep Cherokee or like in your mom's Astro van, and being complacent with just being able to go on tour. We would like show up to shows that we weren't even supposed to be on and be like, can we play? Can we just sell t-shirts? And
Yeah.
be like, yeah.
I remember like Attila's first tours when we were like 15, 16, and we would search the area we wanted to play on MySpace, and then we would search any shows within like 30 miles, and you could see which shows were booked on MySpace, and we would always hit them up and ask to play. And it was like 50-50 if they like let us jump on or not. But even if they said no, we would show up and put our equipment on stage before they knew.
Amazing.
And we would be like, hey, we're not even asking for money or a pizza or anything. Like, we're just
At that point,
asking,
you're
we're just
literally
asking
already
for
there. Yeah.
for an
We're
opportunity.
already here. We already drove
And
here.
our equipment's already set up. I know that you said no in the message, but it's on stage, it's set up, we're gonna play. And they're like, God damn it, these guys are persistent.
These aren't super
They
nice
won't take
venues.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are like old VFW halls and shit, like just middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
The promoter was like 16-year-old kids who were
Yeah.
like, we would just get in there and they're like, it's like, oh, damn it.
It's so smart though, really, when you think about it, looking back, to just hustle and just show
Yeah.
up. Literally just show, because they say like showing up is, half of anything. Like,
MySpace was good for that.
Show 'em that we're serious
MySpace
about
was
it.
key for it.
Yeah.
You could figure out, you like search a city and see what shows were going on.
MySpace was so good for music. Like, I wish
really
it was
was.
still here.
That reminds me of, not to divert us on too much of a tangent, but I used to be the manager for Zayo.
Okay.
And around like 2002, maybe, I just moved to California. Zayo was doing a final tour, and I got a call from an old friend of mine in the Midwest who was like, hey, can my pop punk band jump on this Zayo show in San Diego tomorrow? And I was like, no way, man, there's already like 6 bands and whatever, It's Pete Wentz. I probably should have said yes. But that's what Fall Out Boy did when they first started, is they literally did the same thing where they would just like show up to shows and be like, we're already here, I know you said no. And it was a lot of like MySpace, and they even like, they would make flyers and put other bands on that weren't playing their show. Like, it would be like, Saves the Day, Lifetime.
Oh,
Boy,
man.
they were just like,
Just lying?
just straight up
Because you
lying.
could get away with it back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no one was gonna.
No one's gonna
argue
like
it.
tweet that it's like,
Yeah. What would they say when
There was no
people
fact
showed up
checking.
and Saves the Day wasn't on the show?
I don't know.
They'd be
Dan
like,
broke
They're like,
down,
I don't know,
sorry.
man. We showed up. They
Yeah,
just didn't
exactly,
come.
yeah.
we sound kind of
or
like them,
whatever.
deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You
yeah.
get us.
Close enough.
It's clever.
Yeah, smart. But yeah, I love that like kind of hustle, and it also speaks to having the drive to really wanting to make it happen, as opposed to a lot of bands even starting have this like sense of entitlement that like things are owed to them, and
Oh, yeah.
or
we see it
you
a
meet a
lot.
band and they are like, they haven't even made a record yet, and it's like they have management and a merch deal and like all this stuff happening, and it's like, I don't know. You guys think about maybe writing a song?
Yeah.
Who do you
Playing a
think you
show
are?
somewhere?
It's probably the biggest difference between like people in our generation, like 30s and above, versus like the newer generation where you can just like make a fucking TikTok and your band's big
Yeah.
and then you get all this entitlement, but like all of us motherfuckers were like handing out flyers and burning demo tapes, like demo CDs, and like
Burn CDs.
handing them out. Like I would spend hours and hours burning CDs because it took like 30 minutes
forever.
per thing just to
Like
hand
the
them
length
out.
of the CD was
It
just
would
to get it.
so long, and I would get a stack out and then go to like a Norma Jean show or something and hand them out to people as they like left the show. And then I'd look behind me and everyone just snapped them in half and stomped them. And I'm like, it took me 30 minutes per CD and all of my own money that I made bagging groceries to do this, and everyone just spit in my face. I'm like, God damn it.
You're like, at least hand it back to me.
Yeah, if you don't want it,
Yeah,
just
throw
give
it
it to
away.
me.
Yeah.
Give
no
it back.
one will ever know, like no younger human right now will ever know like how hard it was to be in a band and to truly succeed.
But I feel like that also builds, I mean, you know, it's corny to say it builds character, but it's like it puts you in a position for longevity that I think having sort of a fleeting, explosive TikTok song or two happen doesn't necessarily do for artists.
Yeah, no, you're right. It sets you up for longevity because you could blow up on TikTok and you're cool now, but then like, guess what? The next person's gonna blow up on TikTok in a week and they forgot about your ass.
You're the
And if
flavor,
it was
you know?
just that song or just that clip or just that dance move or whatever, like,
Yeah.
what else you got?
You have
Nothing.
big shoes
You
to fill
haven't been
for
in the
yourself.
shed like
Yeah.
hammering out some more stuff, then it's already over.
Yeah.
So let's talk about. You mentioned originally Attila. You just wanted to be the bass player.
Oh yeah, so I hadn't really officially been in any bands at this point. I just like knew that I wanted to be in a band. I was 14 years old when I started Attila. Basically, I spent all my life savings to buy, like I went to Guitar Center, bought a nice bass amp, I bought a Fender jazz bass.
Which, by the way, life savings.
Yeah,
14.
my life savings at 14. Like, but I was bagging groceries at a grocery store for literally like $3 an hour. Minimum wage was stupid, but
Yeah.
also when you're 14, minimum wage is whatever they tell you.
Yeah.
So every penny I could scrape up to my name, I bought all this bass equipment because I was gonna try out for this band. That was called something else at the time, and I went up, brought all my equipment up to the top of this barn in Georgia, where we started it all. And I plug in my equipment, and I'm playing, and I see the look on the other guys' faces at the time, and they're kind of like, not like super thrilled by me on bass, and they're just like, hey, do you do
anything
vocals?
else?
Yeah. Did you do anything else besides bass?
Because at the time, the band was a guitar player and vocalist, like lead guitar and vocalist. So they're like, he doesn't really want to do vocals anymore. They're like, do you do vocals? And I was like, yeah, like I'm pretty good at it. They're like, all right. They threw the mic at me and they said, show us what you got. And they started going, and I just started screaming, and then everyone stopped, their jaws dropped, and they said, you're never gonna play bass again. And I was like,
And then you didn't.
and then I did it.
And you were
then
like, thank
I
God.
never played bass again a day in my life, but also like I was so grateful and thankful, but at the same time, part of me was like, God damn it, I just spent so many hundreds of dollars on all this bass gear because I wanted to impress them, and now it's just all like collecting dust. Like,
Yeah. And it's the ultimate sweet and sour too, because it's like the band was basically like, you suck, but you're awesome.
yeah.
You're like, wait a second.
Bittersweet, but then the rest is history. I became the
Yeah.
vocalist. We came up with the name Attila because someone was in a bookstore and saw a book about Attila the Hun, and we're just like, sure, whatever, like Attila. We didn't want all the band names back in '04 were like blood, bleeding, dying, death.
Yeah, or like, you know, what is it? Verb the noun?
yeah,
Like a lot of
the
bands were
noun,
verb the noun.
Very long name.
Yes.
blood, bleeding, dying, death, and you had to have like long things, and we all just mutually agreed like one word, keep it simple, done. So Attila was born, we started, and the rest is history.
So how did these three become sort of the core trio
So-
of what Attila is over the years?
So founded when I was 14 in '04, but you came in like literally like 2 years later.
Yeah.
So you came in real early.
That was what Nate Solomon made. I was in a different local band in Atlanta too, and then we just did a bunch of shows together. And I started hanging out with the other guitarist in the band, and then I feel like they need to fill in for. Oh, Matt, something happened.
I think something was going on with our like guitarist where he something with like drugs or this or that, or he was just kind of
Yeah, I think it just
flaky
came to
and
fill
just
in,
kind
so-
of like came away, and then we were like, we got to get Chris Link from Vitriol. This is your band name, because he was like the biggest shredder of all time, and honestly the only person that could like do what
You guys were doing at the time.
we needed to do, because we were southern metal with like shreddy solos. We were like mini Pantera essentially when we started Attila. So he was the only one that could fill the shoes, and I remember like just, man, I really hope we can get this guy, because you were like our only hope. You know, if you didn't do it, there would have been no one else, like physically impossible.
Yeah,
so.
like back in the day, it wasn't like, hey, we'll just fly, Jeff Chris from Indiana out to play guitar for
Yeah,
us. It
there
was
wasn't like the
it's
internet.
like you had to
couldn't
find
form these
someone
internet
within
bands.
this,
Yeah.
like,
had to
10-mile
be
radius.
Reasonable, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can't afford to make it to band practice 3 hours away. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
That
okay.
wasn't
So
a thing. at the
everything
time.
just fell into place perfectly, and Chris joined the band, and it's funny because he's like, I was probably like 16 and you were 14, and then we're starting to tour, but you're so fucking young that your parents had to like sign like a permission slip for school to like let you tour, and then we would do all your homework for you on the road, like because he had to.
I had online school because we got signed to that one Static Factory Records or whatever, and then like in the middle of a school year, they're like, well, you have this tour, and then you got to go to Detroit, record this album.
You're like, that's cool, by the way, I'm 14.
Yeah, like you're like, I'm a little child, and it's like, all right, my parents signed the permission slip, just do your school online. And then because we had already done those classes, because we were a couple years older, we were just like filling out all your answers for you. You're getting straight A's on the road.
Amazing.
And then basically from that point, I would say, God, how long, when was it first official that you played with us? Like before you were in the band, but you played with us, like 10,
Yeah,
10 12
shit, it
years
was like
ago?
12.
Two
What
years
was the year
before
be?
this. 2 years, 12 years ago maybe.
Okay.
It was this
So 2011.
Yeah.
So 2011, long story short, we were touring with For the Fallen Dreams, and Kalen was in For the Fallen Dreams. And then we just got along really well. Like, we would hang out all the time, and everything clicked. And at the time, we had a bass player. So it wasn't like, hey, we're gonna steal you from the band, but everything just kind of fell in place perfectly. Because what happened is after the first tour that we did with For the Fallen Dreams, where we met Kalen, our bass player after that tour did a crazy acid trip, saw God, and God told him that Attila is Satan and the devil, and he has to quit the band. So we get this like frantic call from this a dude on acid saying he has to quit the band. We're like, all right, cool, whatever, like, good luck. Like, we'll figure it out. And so basically, like, the funny story about Kalen, I made a list of bass players. It wasn't like that deep of a list. It was probably like 5 to 10 people, but it was like, all right, number 1, Kalen. Number 2, this person from, I think it was like a Skyline Drive or something.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3, this person. Number 4, like, and I had a list. So I was like, all right, time to start making calls.
But they were people that you'd essentially be poaching from other bands, though, right?
Essentially,
Because how else do you know?
We had to.
Yeah, I mean, well,
we,
that's
we
all you
had
can
to,
do.
because
Yeah.
at that point we were like on the full-time touring circuit,
Yeah.
and we wanted someone that also was used to full-time
But it's not just like,
touring.
oh, I know these random bass players who are pro and experienced and have nothing to do. It's more like,
Yeah.
You got to
I'm
have
thinking
touring
of them,
experience.
I'm thinking about bands that they're in, yeah.
So at the time I was living in Portland, Oregon, and I pick up the phone and I call Kalen and I'm like, hey, it's Franz. Our bass player quit. Do you want to be the full-time bass player for Attila? And he was like, just give me
me a couple weeks or so.
give me like a week or so, like give me 4 or 5 days at least, like let me just think about it. And I was like, okay, fine. And then 10 minutes goes by and he calls me back 10 minutes later and goes, I'm in. So,
I really need some time to think about this.
Well,
Okay.
part about that story that's crazy is that
What happened in those 10 minutes?
Well, no, it goes a
So
little bit
much
deeper
happened.
than that. Like I was kind of unhappy at like how things were going in my band at that time. And I remember I went to go visit my mother, and I was actually at my mom's house, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Like, not even talking about Attila, like I'm just unhappy.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, he called me like 30. My mom was like, well, then do what you want to do. Just quit the band if you don't want to be in the band. Like, I don't know what you're doing this. So I was like, I'm gonna quit. Remember telling my mom, I was like, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna do this one last tour with them. I already signed up for it. And then he calls me. And I was like, I got along with these guys so well. I was like, it was just very...
Destiny.
It was very strange that he happened to call me.
Yeah. Well, that was God in the acid trip.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Maybe.
He's like,
damn.
there's Satan, get out of there. And then he's like,
I was just like, the way things lined up was just very
Crazy how
crazy.
perfect
The universe
it
was just putting it,
serendipitous, yeah.
right? It almost was like, yeah, you have to do this now. So,
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the actual definition of like, you know,
Fate,
one
or
door
the-
closes, another one
Yeah,
opens.
exactly.
Like, that's
But-
great.
Yeah, it was very, very strange period. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not many points in your life does something like that happen.
Like within that time span.
With that time span, you know what I mean? Because I'm like already
Yeah.
trying to process, like, I've been with this one band for 4 years. It's kind of hard to like process that you're gonna leave something. that
Sure.
you
I mean, it
invested that
becomes
much
like your whole
time.
identity.
Exactly.
You're like, tomorrow, like, what's it going to be like waking up the first day and not the dude from the
Exactly.
band?
And then getting that phone call literally like,
Like, oh, it'll be
10
now
minutes.
because now I'm the dude in Attila. That's
Exactly.
what it'll be like.
Cool.
And then
Yeah,
I'm
awesome.
pretty sure
Upgrade.
like later that night, literally after he said he was in the band, we got a call that we like got a tour with Asking Alexandria and As They Lay Dying.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And we were
Yeah.
like, oh
It was
shit,
just
by the way.
all
Just
destiny.
kinda
like,
rolling, yeah.
Everything fell into place perfectly.
Very quick.
And that's how we all became an Attila, and it's been the same ever since the past 12 years.
Yeah, and isn't that crazy? Because, you know, something I've noticed over the years of, you know, knowing bands and being in bands and interviewing bands, like, you know, we all kind of fetishize this idea of like original lineups and things like that. But if you really think about all the bands you love, it's all like classic lineups. You know, it's like Pantera's playing right now and everyone's like, oh, it's only 2 original members. It's like, yeah, those guys aren't original members either. Like, Phil Anselmo's not even the first singer of Pantera. You know, it's
yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when you
True,
think
when
about like, it's basically like U2. Like there's very few bands,
it's,
right?
yeah, it's very
So when
rare.
you start as teenagers, like you're inevitably going to go through people that get in different places in life, and they get married, they buy houses, they take over their family business, or
Of
you know,
course.
they realize they're
And
not cut out for it.
That's exactly what happened with Attila.
Yeah, and I think that's more bands than it's not. I think it's most bands.
Yeah.
And so what I think is more noteworthy is when, you know, when you can kind of coalesce around like a core group and it's like, these are the essential people, you know, other people might come and go and other people can become essential, but it's like, this is sort of,
Yeah.
you get to a point,
At
right,
this
where you know,
point,
like,
like-
this is the band now.
Yeah.
At this point, I would consider us all like the original members.
Right,
You know what
exactly.
I mean? Because
Yeah.
there wasn't really
It's like
anything.
for all intents and purposes, you know.
There wasn't really anything significant whatsoever in our career before
Right.
these two guys. So it's like, yeah, I might have started the band in 2004 when I was 14, but there wasn't anything significant, you know,
Yeah.
at all. Like we played a parking lot, cool, or someone's driveway on Halloween.
Backyard.
Yeah.
Or we played in a backyard, like, cool. But like, this is what matters, because this is when we started writing like real shit and doing real tours.
Yeah.
So I would very much say this is original Attila right here, forever.
And it's funny when you know, end up in situations where it's like, oh, the new guy's been in the band for 12 years. You know, it's like, and I find that's pretty common with bands too.
Yeah,
I
if you could
still
do
get
one thing
that.
for a
Yeah.
decade, you're not a fucking new
Who are
guy.
you?
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
He's a new guy, 12 years ago.
exactly. Yeah, it was like Jason Newsted. We were still calling him Jason New Kid 14
yeah.
years into being in Metallica. It's like, all right, dude. How long are you the new
It
guy?
happens.
Yeah. So, what do you think it is about these 3 individuals, the chemistry between you, the friendships, the interest, music differences? What is it that keeps you drawn together and, you know, focused on doing this particular band? And, you know, when you could obviously be doing
I would just
anything
say
else in
like
life.
the what it comes down to at the end of the day, which is probably like pretty rare for most bands, is that we're like best friends on earth. And if we could choose any people in the whole world to hang out with, we would only choose us 3. And I think that's kind of rare for a lot of bands, because
Yeah.
they might be like amicable and like they can make things happen and make music and like barely like get along on a tour. But it's like, even when we're off tour, we just hang out with each other. Like we actually are friends like that, to where
Still kick it.
we kick it all the time, and whatever it is that we're doing, even outside endeavors, we all get each other involved in it. Like we're we're closer than a family could even be. So I think that's probably just the craziest part that makes it all work. We're just such good friends that we're not going anywhere ever.
Yeah, there are a lot of bands where it gets to a point where the band is the only thing really tethering them together. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're saying without the band, you guys would still be.
Yeah.
yeah, we
If this
toured.
band didn't exist, we would just be best friends still hanging out.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
the band's
You
obviously...
might as well do the band.
That's why the band's been around for 20 years now.
We're like, this is
Yeah.
an excuse we can go travel together and go to bars and drink and
Yeah.
hang out.
We can hang out with our best friends because we're in this
Yeah.
band. Like I don't even care what the fuck happens in the future. We're gonna literally probably be in this band till we're 80. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, hey, yeah, we want to hang out. Let's go on tour.
There's so many bands that just really don't fuck with each other.
Oh
at
yeah,
all. Like,
not at all.
They can't wait to get home and separate.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they're
We're the
punch- they're
opposite.
punching
We
the
go
clock.
home and we're like, God damn it! Like we just want to hang out more.
Yeah, that's killer.
It's also like with the older you get, I feel like your friend group
Absolutely.
gets smaller. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're already close friends, so it's like, who else do you kind of hang out with? These people we're already friends, so it's like,
Yeah.
you keep your circle tighter and tighter the older you get, and we've been doing this for fucking 15 plus years, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like,
And through
it's kind of a
important years of
no-brainer.
your life as
Yeah.
people.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like through, all the changes that we all go through in like,
Yeah.
teens and 20s, and like, if you've survived that, then you all like still like each other. Like
Yeah.
that's,
and I think we have a really good writing chemistry. I think that was one of the biggest like selling points when he asked me to play. I was like, well, I get to write as well. You know what I mean? I wasn't just gonna come on and play whatever songs you tell me to play.
Yeah.
Me and this guy like
we
hunkered
started
down
that
in Atlanta, wrote like
Yeah.
half of this album we're about to play
Ken's
tonight
basement.
in like a week. And then
Yeah.
I mean
We
we
write-
all write together really,
Besides
really
the
well.
friendship chemistry, which is probably the most important part, the musical like writing, composition, chemistry
Yeah.
is phenomenal.
Where each of us
We
lack,
complement each other.
where each of us lack, the other one will pick up.
Yeah, that's
In-
how it
in
should
the
be.
music- in the
Complementary
music.
differences.
When I'm like running out of an idea, like he comes out with something that I was like, well, I would have never thought of that, or vice versa. Or I'll show him something and he's like, I know how to make this better. So that's also like pretty rare.
Yeah.
Usually there's like one guy who writes everything.
One guy who writes everything, or a band that like butts heads and is like, "Fuck your idea," like that sucks, or
Yeah.
this or that.
Every
versus-
song's like the result of a compromise that a bunch of people were.
Yeah.
No
Or-
one liked it. Like
Yeah.
everyone in the band's
But
unhappy.
we don't have to compromise. We just actually like help each other.
Yeah,
when
we just sit in
write.
a room and figure
And
it
we
all out
we all
together.
agree.
There's
Yeah.
a ton of bands that don't even write.
Or
any of
there's
their
bands
own
that don't even
stuff.
write their own music.
Yeah, that's kind of a newer phenomenon in the
Yeah.
last few years. But
Yeah, well,
it's like
I-
pretty
we
common.
seven co-writers.
A lot
in
of
row,
us
yeah.
we produce full time as well when we're off tour, and you're surprised how many bands.
How many bands show up and they're like, "We're here to make our album. Cool.
It's-
How many
I'm
songs
like-
do you have?
it's
I'm like,
mind-blowing.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, you got any
Mind-blowing.
demos?
Produce our album."
Show up, like, what ideas do you have?
Like, I got an idea. Like, I want to make it heavy. You're like, that's your idea.
Want everything to sound really big
I
production,
want, like,
but also
snare
let it sound
bombs.
I
live.
want snare bombs, bass drops, and I want to be heavy. I'm like, is that it? Like, work with me here, pal.
I love when a band in like their second or third record tells me we really focused on the songs this time. It's like, so
So what about the
never
last
did
two
before,
records?
before now? Like,
Yeah.
or another favorite of mine is like, what's crazy about this album is like the poppy parts are the poppiest we've ever done, but the heavy parts are the heaviest we've ever done.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, you were the 1 millionth band to say that.
Yeah. This is the best
Congratulations.
album we've ever done.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we got
that's-
some new songs. Hope
That's
you
one
like
thing
them.
I stopped doing is like we would make new albums and I'd be like, fuck, like this is the best fucking shit we've ever made.
I
blah,
mean,
blah,
you
blah.
should feel that way.
You should
It's kind of
feel
a
that way.
I
catch-22.
feel that way, but I think it's better to just like not say like this is the best shit we've
Yeah.
ever made. Say nothing.
Yeah.
Be a man.
Just yeah.
Say nothing. Be a man. Just drop it. Just be like, fuck it.
There
Here
it
you
is.
go.
There's a song.
Because then there's no basis. Because if
There's
you're
no
like, this is so
expectations.
good, this is so good, everyone's expectations are here. And even if you pivoted your sound a little, they're like, fuck you. But if you say nothing, just drop it, and then people are like, oh my god, this is great. It's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah. So I have to ask if it feels, how vindicating it might feel or funny even that, when you think about a time when Attila was really coming up into prominence in the scene, quote unquote, and you had, you were rapping and you had like all this like elements of hip hop culture in Atlanta, which, shout out Goody Mob, shout out Outkast, shout out all the amazing
Chainz.
Dungeon family, 2 Chainz, TLC. You were really doing that in a moment where, like, you know, rap metal was like over, it was passé. People were embarrassed that they ever liked it. You know, I mean, how does it feel now? And it's all back and it's
pretty
big again,
interesting.
and like all the old bands are popular again. And you know, if I interview a band of like 22-year-olds, it's like they talk about like Linkin Park like it's Led Zeppelin. You know, it's like it was like their seminal, important, like formative stuff. What's that feel like to be in Attila and be like, hey,
Wild, bittersweet.
remember when you said we shouldn't do that?
Yeah, and then they're all doing it.
We were like the
every-
Limp Bizkit. It wasn't cool to listen to Limp Bizkit back in the day.
Yeah.
Now Limp Bizkit, everyone's like,
now
I
every-
fucking
yeah,
love
now-
Limp Bizkit. I was like, yeah, you were the guy that made fun of people who listened to Limp Bizkit.
We incorporated rap and metal. Not saying we were the first ones to do it, because
Right. Yeah,
obviously there are Linkin
not.
Parks, etc. But like in
You
the
were
way
doing it
that
at a time where it wasn't.
Wasn't cool to do it.
And
at the
different
time,
genres. No one was
in
doing
different
deathcore with
genres,
rap.
because exactly. Like we had actual like heavy breakdowns. Like
Yeah.
it was screaming.
Yeah, there's no like pig squeals in
wasn't
rap before that.
Yeah, it wasn't quite
First
like
pig squeal
it
rap.
wasn't quite like anything Linkin Park was doing. So it was very different, and we were the first band to do that. And when we did it, we were met with so much hate. Like I'll never forget when About That Life came out. It was the most hated album in the universe, 2013, and every single, whether it was like Revolver, Loudwire, you name it, every single article was worst album of the year, worst album of the century, worst thing we've ever heard, total dog shit. And like all the headlines were just constantly in
were
my
funny.
face. It was funny.
They're worth a Google.
They're worth the Google, because like I've never been roasted so hard in my life until we dropped About That Life. And the craziest shit happened because we dropped that shit, and then 3 months later, it was the biggest album ever. Like everyone loved it, because
Yeah.
I think they had to check it out, because why is this article saying this is the worst fucking shit on earth? So like if 1 million people check out the album because of that article and 100,000 of them like it, that's a fucking win, dude. Like even if a lot of people agree, like fuck this rap metal shit, like the amount of people that got drawn to us just strictly from hate is what created our band essentially. And going back to your question, I think the craziest fucking shit is like every fucking song on the radio now that's rock or metal has rap verses in it. Even these like people that have no culture or influence of
no
rap.
connection
It's
to
like,
rap at all.
we grew up in Atlanta. I grew up in Atlanta. The only radio stations I could listen to were rap stations. I only grew up on rap. I got introduced to like metal and rock way later than rap. So all I knew as a kid, as a young human, was rap only, and I loved it. Growing up in Atlanta. So it made sense for me to do rap and metal naturally.
Yeah.
And I feel like now these newer bands, it's kind of like forced, because they're trying to fit a formula of what's cool. Like the new radio formula is like rap verse, pre-chorus, chorus, rap verse, yelling, like, you know, whatever. It's just like very methodical, and it's like, you've never rapped in your life. Like you have no history or background of rap, and now you're rapping. Like, get a grip. You're just following a trend. So it's kind of weird to see something that we essentially started turn into like the biggest trend. But it's also good for us, because our shit's on the radio too right now, and,
Right.
and it's doing well, and we're doing the same shit. So
Yeah, it'd be different if things weren't
Fuck
going
it.
well for you. But
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
ride that
So I mean,
wave.
I'm not really bitter, you know.
Yeah.
If anything, I would say I'm thankful that it's bigger,
Yeah.
because it brings more people that like that style to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that whole story about that era really speaks to two different things that each of you said independently of one another. One was you were talking all the way back about like, you know, you knew Eminem was like the thing you weren't supposed to listen to. All of that negative press initially that was like, this is the worst album ever. No one should like this.
Made
Yeah.
you wanna,
Made a certain group of people go like, what is this thing everyone says it's so horrible I shouldn't listen to it.
Yep.
And then you're like, this is pretty good. That's like,
And then
it's
look
that
at
same
it,
sort of
flash
thing.
forward to the future, the same thing happened with Attila.
Yeah.
Fuck this album, don't listen to it, it's the worst.
Oh, that's what I was talking about was Attila. That's
It's
what I'm saying.
crazy-
It's like
Yeah.
the same.
It's crazy
as-
on this
as
10-year
when you were a kid.
cycle, doing the 10-year tour right now.
Yeah.
People at our meet and greets, people come up to us and they're like, when this record came out, I love this album, but I wasn't allowed to come to your show My parents wouldn't let me.
I was
Yeah.
11 years old.
But now they're like, now I'm an adult and I have my own money and I can do what I want.
I can eat cereal for dinner. Whatever I want.
Yeah, I can do whatever I
We've
want.
got a lot of like 24, 25-year-olds where, it was like not allowed to listen to this album. And now they're getting to relive their childhood, I guess.
Yeah.
They got that moment behind the shed or in the garage listening to shit they weren't supposed
Yeah,
to
exactly.
listen to. Like,
And it also speaks to something you said, which was that, music at its core should make you feel something.
Yeah.
It should move you in some way.
Absolutely.
And I always think that, for me, what I connect with, whether it's a filmmaker, an author, a musician, I want to feel like the person making it believes in it.
Yeah.
Like it's not just, oh, this kind of movie's popular, I want to make a movie like that. But it's more like I have to tell the story. If I can't get this out of me, I'm gonna like fall over and die. And that's the kind of music, and that's what you hear in like Life is Peachy, or some of those records, or somebody like Eminem. Like it doesn't matter if you agree with everything that's being said or if you can relate totally to that experience. It's more like this person means it.
Yeah, the authenticity
And that was,
of it.
I think, Attila always had that, like, clearly you weren't combining those things or making that kind of music with any intention other than like, this is what we want to make. This is what we like it. Hopefully somebody else will like it, and enough that we can keep doing it. But like, we like this.
Yeah,
We're doing
definitely.
this.
It's,
And I think that's where all the
authentic.
great art stems from, of any
Yeah.
kind.
Like everything we talk about is real. Like this, it's
Yeah.
not a story like made up. It's not fiction.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
I
real
always
shit.
thought something that critics of Attila missed 10 years ago, that maybe people were more hip to or understand more now. I always found that Attila had a sense of humor. And
Yeah.
that like this, character of Franz, like that you had a sense of humor about yourself and about the world and about your points of view. And even like, the call out songs and stuff like that, like it was like hip hop and pro wrestling and, all
Yeah.
this sort of, action movies. It was like there was this mentality to it that I don't want to say that I didn't take it seriously, because that almost sounds like dismissive, but just more that like,
We weren't
was
I don't know. It's
too
like,
serious.
Yeah, it was like, how do you hate this? Like, this is fun.
Yeah.
You know what I
Like
mean?
those
you're-
metal- the
you're
metal
mad
bands
about
that-
this? Like, this dude doesn't seem mad to me.
The
Like, why are
bands
you
that
mad
are
at
on
him?
stage just like mean mugging their fans and like
Right,
looking all
exactly.
tough guy.
It
and
was just
shit.
an era where
Just,
you
like,
had to be
smile
like
and have
overly
fun.
Yes.
serious about it, and no one, until Attila came along, no one was just having fun making
It
heavy
wasn't a
music.
party.
It had to be
Yeah.
serious, not
Yeah.
a party.
Yeah.
So when we kind of switched up that whole vibe, it's
true.
People just when you do something different, people don't know what to do. They're just hate, like hit the hate button, like. But it's like, hey, just try to understand it. Actually, like it might be different for you, but it's nothing to hate. It's just we're actually having fun making heavy music.
Yeah, and especially for music that extreme, I think that was that heavy.
Yeah.
Like, it was generally associated with like, oh, if you're playing music that sounds like this, you're singing about blood and gore and everything's like very like serious, mean mugging the crowd. And it was like refreshing to have a band that's that heavy, that's like having fun. you know?
Exactly. That's how I feel. Refreshing. And if you don't like it, there's a fucking million bands doing exactly what you want. Just go listen to them.
Yeah, sure.
Eat
exactly.
shit. If you
That's
wanna
always the
have fun,
thing. Yeah,
listen to us.
yeah. If you think my
We don't
movie
care.
sucks, don't go see it. Don't watch
Yeah.
it.
I don't care. I like what I make.
Yeah. So something else I want to touch on while we're together is, you've had a lot of experiences over the years, different labels, different management companies, different everything. Like you've had kind of run the gamut of that. And the Attila that I see in the last few years is much more self-contained and like kind of purposeful. Like it seems like you're, you've always been in command in terms of like you've had the clothing company and like, it never felt like Attila was being bossed around or anything. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like there's more of a spirit of independence and like commitment in that sense. If I'm way off base, tell me.
No,
But-
no, no. You're right. That's totally what's happening. We kind of have been independent for how many years? 4, almost 5,
Since
maybe.
Villain.
It's
Villain.
been a while.
It was not as common, I guess, when we started doing it.
Yeah,
it's
it really
more,
was,
it's
especially
more,
in like our world. So to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like
it's
you
more
had to
common
be
now.
signed.
The goal was always like, how we gotta get on a
Yeah.
label. We gotta do.
Yeah. I think we just reached a point where we said, hey, no one in this industry, like behind the scenes, is actually able to like grow our band or grow our fan base anymore. Like no label is gonna really do that much for us that we haven't done ourselves, because we already have this legacy fan base that we've built. So it's just like, there's no point in, unless you're gonna provide something extreme that's gonna help us, there's no point in ever having a label for Attila. So we've just been independent, and I think the coolest part about it is, like you said, we have this sense of independence now to where, like, it's not like the label days where it's like, you gotta go in the studio for this whole month, you gotta go here, you gotta do this, we gotta get the
It's
album
been 2
out
years,
by
you
here.
need a new album because Warped Tour's coming up and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's all like,
Well, we were on a schedule even back then where it was like album a year.
Yeah, it's
and
like
we were
Oh,
touring
yeah.
for 8 months
Yeah.
out of the year, which meant
Go to
that
the
one of
studio.
our 4 months off total was fully in the studio. So we had 3 months to like say hello to a family member.
And the
Like,
other month is
and part
writing
of-
an album.
And
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
yeah,
still
the other
gotta
month was
write it.
writing.
It's like-
So we would maybe have like 2 months or less to do like anything in our personal lives. And it was just every year, album.
and to make art, you have to live some life too. It's like, were you going to write a record about touring the last record?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? Write Homesick by A Day to Remember? Like just write about touring the whole
Yeah.
album? Like,
Yeah.
so
It's like the Gwen Stefani, her first big solo hit was about how she needed to write a solo hit. Like
Oh,
the,
shit.
the lyrics are like, you got your $1 million contract. They're all waiting for your hot track. It's like, I was like, literally the song was about like writer's block. It's like, I don't get how that's relatable for the common person.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's healthy for us though, because we basically, whenever we're free, we'll meet up and write, and it's very natural. Nothing is forced. We won't we won't write for like a month or something. We'll just be like, hey, let's meet up for a week. Let's write 2 songs or 3, whatever. Let's just meet up, see what happens, vibe it out. And now we've got all these songs, and we're independent to where we can release them however we like. We can do
Yeah.
2 songs this month, 1 song that month, take a month off. That one's doing well. Do 2 songs this month. Like, we have full freedom and control to do whatever we want, and everything is self-produced, like in-house. So
You don't have to worry about the schedule of a producer mixer.
nothing. It's
And-
just all
yeah,
us.
and it's with digital delivery systems now too, and all those platforms being the norm.
Oh yeah.
It's
Just
like-
upload. You could write a song and upload it in
Upload it.
24 hours.
Yeah,
It's
go on
pretty
social media,
wild.
tell everybody that it's there, and they can go find. You know,
It's crazy.
Yeah, whereas it used to be like, well, we got manufacturing, we have to service it to press, we
Yeah.
have to
Yep.
do this, we
Like
have
a
to do that.
CD, like even, you know, we grew up in the era where like first week sales.
Yeah,
Really
and the
matter.
era of like 3 or 4 months setup time.
Yeah, that.
Anytime you're talking about an album,
to worry
they're like,
about
well, you gotta hand
albums
it in this day to have it
leaking.
on this day.
Every band
Yeah.
was always like,
Yeah.
fuck, our
Oh, the
album
leaked
doesn't
albums
leak.
and all
Yeah.
that shit.
Like we've had even on this tour, people are like, what do I do with this? Like literally, they're like looking at it like,
Yeah,
I don't even have anything to play this. I'm like,
yeah,
It's just a wild concept to like go from the era we came from where CDs were a big deal and people
Yeah.
did have CD players to now it's like just upload it
CD
to,
players don't even like aren't
upload it
even
to
in new cars.
DistroKid and
I was just gonna say, I remember
you don't even have them in the
as
car.
recently as like 2019, I had this like tradition of a band I work with, like when their record would come out, I'd go on street date and buy it at Best Buy. It was just like a thing, you know. And I remember going to do that, and it was like I had to find a Best Buy that still had any CDs at all. And then it was like the CD section's like one thing. I bought the CD, I went out to my car, I opened it, and I realized as I got, and I'd had this car for like a year at that point. I realized I
Didn't have a CD
I didn't
player.
even know. I had a CD.
Yeah, you're like.
Turns out
oh,
I
shit.
didn't. I was literally just like, wait, is there a CD player in here? And there
pretty
wasn't. I
wild.
was just like, oh yeah. It's a
wild.
whole different, you know. Used to be like, oh, you gotta get on the power wall at Best Buy. Like,
yeah.
you know, gotta
a
be
big
in the
deal.
circular. And
When you
yeah.
had the like cutouts.
I don't miss
at
any of that shit.
FYE.
Yeah,
all
when
that
you when
shit.
you were on the end cap and then the people could put the headphones on and sample
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You only
Dude,
got
that was like a
30
big
seconds.
thing,
the
yeah.
Hot Topic sampler
Hot
CDs.
Topic.
was
But you
sick.
could sample the album before you committed to see if you're like, this sucks, fuck this. All right, this is cool.
Yeah, because that's the best way to absorb someone's art too. Is like in a little 40-second like.
Yeah, 40-second clips.
Somebody spent months
Like, there's
making
not
the
enough
album.
breakdowns. I'm not buying this record.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that it's so much more accessible. You can get it out there that much
Yeah.
faster. And like you said, I mean, you know, when people ask me about bands and labels, and I feel like if you're a new band and a label can offer some credibility to your band, that's an advantage, and they can afford to take risks to kind of promote you, and there's an infrastructure. Like, I think that system
Agreed.
can still work for a
As
smaller
a,
band.
as a label owner, I think it's good for smaller bands.
Yeah.
I think larger bands, no point.
When you have such a dedicated fan base and you know how to talk directly to them, and you have all the means of putting the stuff out there, it's like, yeah, like you said, what can they really do to grow your band that you aren't doing on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing anyone could do right now to grow Attila unless you're like, hey, I'm gonna guarantee you a Metallica tour, a Pantera tour, a Slipknot tour, Avenged Sevenfold tour, and then I'm gonna give you a $2 million right now.
Right.
If you could do that, sure, we'll fucking sign to your
Or
label.
skip all the tours and take the $2 million.
Yeah.
Here's the thing
Or
about
that.
all this tours too. Like you guys have been doing it long enough now that you know that it's like even getting the most coveted tour with the biggest band in the genre, you still might be going on at like 6 p.m.
Yeah, it's still
You know,
not enough.
arenas like 1/10
Yeah.
full. You can only sell 2 T-shirts. You got a price match. There's 5 merch vendors in the venue, but you're only at 1. It's like it's never. There's no magic
Yeah.
wand. There's no just like, oh, if we could just do this.
Yeah,
it's
no,
like-
you're right.
It's still a grind.
And
you
also,
know?
we
Take the
wouldn't
2
even
million
we wouldn't even know though, because no band has ever brought Attila on tour. We've only headlined.
Let's talk about that.
Not no band.
wild.
Not no band. Okay,
Two bands.
Two bands. The two only
I didn't
bands.
realize that until you said it.
Oh,
been headlining
fucking
forever.
wild.
It's crazy.
Forever.
I was just talking to Noah from Bad Omens, and he's like, "No fucking way! I thought you guys just liked to headline only." I'm like, "Yeah, no,
No,
shit,
dude.
bro.
Yeah.
No one brings us out.
We brought them out.
We brought them out.
We brought
yeah.
Bad Omens out. Ice Nine.
The
brought
only
them out.
2 bands that ever brought us out in our career, and it wasn't even an American tour. It was Black Veil Brides brought us on a full UK run, which was like 2
huge
weeks
shout
in
out,
UK.
Black Veil.
Yeah,
Good for them.
awesome.
Shout out Black Veil Brides, and then Hollywood Undead brought us on a full Europe UK tour as well. Huge. Shout out
Both
them.
were huge.
Yeah.
That was it. In our whole career as Attila, we've never not headlined ever. Not
Or
once.
co-headlined, I guess. You've done co-headliners.
Yeah.
headliners. But
We've opened a few tours, you know, like
Back in the
obviously,
day.
but
Oh yeah. Like
We were opening
when
tours when-
2010. Yeah, we
around
opened.
this, yeah, but
But
we've literally been headlining.
We've
forever.
headlined forever.
since the Guilty
Yeah.
Pleasure album came out, I think we just
And
straight
it's
up
crazy because we're
long.
friends with everyone. Like we're friends
Right.
with Five Finger Death Punch.
I was gonna say,
we're
people
friends
like
with
you.
Shinedown. We're friends
Yeah.
with fucking you name it, any band out there. We're friends with everyone. It's just the offer never comes to our table.
Yeah, so I feel like the you know, it begs the question, and if anyone was watching this and I didn't ask it, they'd be like, "What? Why do you think that is? Why aren't bands?" It's not for lack of relationships. It's not for lack of bringing fans to shows.
I would say it has nothing to do with the actual bands themselves. It has to do with the people behind the scenes.
Oh,
It's
sure.
their management, booking agent, because every single person in the world right now would rather play it safe. So there's always a safer bet than Attila, when in reality, like, we're not crazy, we're not wild, we're pretty mature, grown
And you're a pretty
men.
safe bet in that you have fans.
Yeah.
It seems like
Yeah,
that should count
that's-
for the most. you
But
know?
it's just like,
Yeah.
oh,
would
like
think, right?
they're a little controversial, blah blah blah. There's always a safer bet. So I think it's just nothing to do with the band. It's just the higher ups behind them are just kind of, fuck it, we'll get this safer band. It's, you know,
That's boring.
I don't.
Safe,
It's
yeah,
it's so
safe is a
boring.
whole-
Safe is
the
boring.
industry is just boring and stale right now. Everyone takes the safe bet. No one is down to do anything that pushes any buttons or shakes shit up. It's just not the industry right now.
Yeah.
Used to be.
Very few.
Not anymore.
I mean, the fact that we could sit here and name the handful of people or bands that will rock the boat a little bit says how few there are. You know,
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
few. Yeah, so there are obviously a lot of advantages to only ever headlining. It's interesting. We were talking about AFI earlier. Thinking about them, like most of their career they only headlined.
yeah.
It was like in the 90s, I mean, like the Nitro Records days, they would do like, you know, I saw them open for Sick of It All, like way back in the day.
Wow.
But then for the longest time, they were only like headlining.
They're
and
just-
it seems
yeah.
like sometimes that's a way to create a whole vibe where it's like, well, we're building a culture around our band. Because you're coming to our show, you're seeing bands we picked to open.
True.
Maybe no one wanted to take AFI out. And
That's literally,
they're like,
Same
sitting there
thing.
like, same shit happened to us.
that's kind of what you think, right? Because it's like,
Yeah,
man,
man.
that's a lot of headlines.
Or maybe their headliners just did so well that they were like, we like making
Yeah.
all this money.
And I mean, there is, you know, not to be cocky about it, but there is also the thing of like some bands might be afraid to take out a band that, you know,
Might steal the show.
might steal the show.
Yeah, we've thought about that too.
That's probably another part of it, because when
Yeah.
when
You
we
don't want to say it, but I'll say it.
yeah, a little too cocky if I,
I like
say
a
it.
little competition though, you know? I feel like if
But, I mean,
everybody's
it's
putting
true,
110
you know?
in,
Oh, yeah.
it makes the whole show.
Like
And you
whenever
should-
we
and
have
you
a
should
band,
want that,
when-
yeah.
Whenever we have a band opening for us, that's like bringing the fucking heat. It
bring
makes
it.
us like more amped to play.
Exactly.
Like we can't half-ass the show because they just full-assed it. And we got 120% acid now.
Everybody's
Full-assed
whole
it.
acid tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
No,
that was,
you're right.
That was the thing, like, you know, when they finally did the Big Four shows, all the bands in the interviews, they were like, yeah, we're all friends, we all respect each other, whatever, but like, of course we want to destroy the other three bands. Like, that's,
Yeah.
you should want to, and
It's a
that
good
everyone gets a
competition.
better show that way.
Friendly
Exactly.
competition is the best thing there is.
Yeah.
You know, it just helps everyone grow.
So that I think shows like some, not only in playing it safe from the angle of the optics of a package or whatever, but I think it's also playing it safe of not wanting a band.
They might steal the
have
show,
a more
like-
exciting show.
They'll bring fans, but they might have a bigger mosh pit, crazier crowds, take away from our merch sales.
Yeah,
Who knows?
exactly. Yeah. That only shows the most confidence to me is when you know, as a support band, when you're going out with a headliner that's like, whatever, you know, merch restrictions are just space. As long as there's enough space for our merch, you guys do whatever you want. Like whenever you start hearing that, it's like, man, that headliner's not worried about, you know. And how many times do you hear a band talk about like, this one's always funny to me, like, when a package goes out and does super well, the headliner goes, look how hard we're killing it, sold out all these venues, you know, blah blah blah. If it goes out and doesn't do well, the headliner's like, look at all these shitty support bands. Like, we got sold all these bands that are supposed to have all this hype and bring all these people. They're not bringing anybody. It's like, that's
So
just
true.
kind of the, you know, what do they say? Like, you know, success has 100 fathers, failure is an orphan.
Yeah.
Shitty support bands.
So yeah, I mean, so there's something to be said for even the integrity and the courage that it takes to headline, whether it's because you have to or not. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's a lot on your plate when you have
all
to
on you.
headline. Everybody's looking at you.
yeah, if everything goes well, it's
Everything goes
you know,
well, cool. You get the cool numbers. Everyone can
Goes
see
bad,
it, and
everyone
you're
says,
hyped.
You suck.
Yeah.
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 It's all on you. So
So you mentioned at the top of the conversation, this is probably a fun way to wrap it up, you know, doing Attila when you're 80. And I just saw AC/DC play their first show in 7 years. And I didn't realize this until I looked it up, but Brian Johnson's like 75. You know, and it's like dudes in Metallica are hitting like 60 now. You know, the Iron Maidens and Judas Priest are like late 60s, early 70s. You know, it's like we think about the Rolling Stones, we think about Paul McCartney, but as far as heavy music, like we're just now starting to see like how long can you really
Do this.
Yeah.
like a
go
heavy
this
band.
hard with like heavy music, you know? Yeah,
Everybody's
having,
jumping.
you know, where do you see this going? Like what are new things you want to conquer and new things that are happening that are in front of you? Like what is the next, you know, we're talking about 10 years of this record and 20 years of the band and what's the next 10, 20 years look like to all of you?
I mean, I can confidently say that we're still going to be ripping and shredding 10, 20 years from now. There's no signs of stopping ever. I think musically we are maturing, like, so to speak, just because we are getting older, you know? Like, we've got families, like, it's...
Also, like our style of music that we like to play has changed a little bit. We're not like trying to compete with like who can make the craziest
Yeah.
heavy music. We're like want to write good songs, have good,
good songs,
choruses,
good-
like
Yeah.
stuff people can sing along to, stuff that has
Yeah.
longevity.
And it's still the same, like you were talking about your competitive streak, but there's competitive of like, I want to shred harder than this person, and now it's like, I want to have a hookier,
I was like, I want to write a
catchier
better. I
song
just want to
than
write a
this
I
better
want to
song.
sing
than-
better than these
song.
people.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
rap better than them.
I think
Yeah.
that's more of the like overall. Is like I'd rather just write a better song than try to like focus on stuff we used to
Yeah.
focus on. We were less mature.
So
about writing.
it's still kind of the same spirit, just in a
Oh,
different,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
same box,
spirit.
you know?
and going back to Attila always headlining, we've kind of carried this fan base with us for like over a decade, and maybe our fan base when they were younger was super into the like highly offensive "fuck you, suck my fuck everything" kind of mentality, but now these people are growing older just like we are, and they're having kids just like we are. They're having families, and it's kind of like we're maturing for ourselves and for our fan base because we want to grow with them. We want to grow with everybody. And luckily we get great opportunities to play festivals and this and that and be around a lot of great people. And I think that Attila's always going to stay true to ourselves in the sense that Attila is always going to be true, like real shit. We're not gonna sing about anything fake. We're not gonna do whatever a trend is because they do it. It's gonna be real to who we are, and it's still going to have the Attila sound and the Attila edge to it. It's just gonna be a more pop, more what?
Mature.
Mature, yeah.
you know.
Mature
That's what I've
pop.
really appreciated
More-
about the newer stuff.
More
is that
thought out.
More thought out.
it still has your
thoughtful.
personality in it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's key because like a lot of bands get to a stage where they're
Can't
like,
lose that part.
their
Yeah.
songwriting evolves and they mature and whatever, but then it could be 10 other bands. Like, oh, that's a great song I just heard on the radio, but this could have been any of 10
Can't tell
different bands.
who-
You
what
can
it
you can
was.
still tell it's
Yeah.
Attila, even if
Yeah.
it's like a
Exactly.
catchy radio song. I think that's
I
important.
think that's important is not losing your identity and who you are, because we can mature, we can write better music, which we have been, but you still always know it's Attila the second it comes on.